Do you feel intimidated about doing the digital nomad life alone? Well, don't be. There are so many surprising benefits of doing this solo that you may not have thought of that make it even better than doing it with a partner or a friend. And in this video, I'm going to share those with you. Hi, I'm Jennifer, an online course creator, traveler, and sometimes digital nomader. And I just want to start off by saying that I'll be perfectly honest, there have been a lot of times when I have watched people's YouTube videos and they're a couple and they're doing all this fun stuff, and part of me feels envious. It can definitely be uncomfortable doing a digital nomad journey on your own, but there are some benefits that you get from doing it alone that you can't get when you do it with someone else. And so I want to talk about those in this video, because while it may be the more uncomfortable path, I think it's also the more rewarding path. So let's talk about those reasons. Number one, when you travel alone or when you do this digital nomad lifestyle, and you're not with someone else where you feel like you're in your comfort zone, whether that's a friend or a partner, you are more receptive to meeting people and having experiences that you wouldn't have when you're on your own. I mean, think about it. Whether we're in a couple in our normal home area or we're traveling, we get into this comfort zone where we're not really open and receptive to meeting people that come along our path. So like, for example, I have been in many places where I'm alone, and because I'm alone, I'll strike up a conversation with someone that I never would have spoken to had I been with my boyfriend or a friend. So there are people that you will meet when you are alone that you will probably never meet if you're with someone else. And this leads to some incredible experiences and opportunities. It just comes down to being open and receptive. It feels so comfortable and cozy when you're with someone else and you don't have those kind of feelers out to what's happening in your immediate environment. Number two, another surprising benefit is that you have the freedom to choose your own path. So it's just you. You can decide where you want to go, what you want to do when you're there, how long you want to stay there. And if you're with someone else, you have to navigate all that with the other person's desires as well and come up with something that feels like what you both want to do, or maybe you're compromising so that it fits in with both of your desires. But when you're alone, you get to decide all of that. So for example, I'm heading out, I'm starting in Albania, I'll be there for 5 weeks, then I'm going to go to Bulgaria for, again, I don't know, probably a week or two. And then I know that I want to go to Sicily. How long will I be there? I don't know. And this really opens up something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, which is this whole idea of intuitive travel, intuitively led travel that allows you to listen to your own intuition around where you want to go and what you want to do next. And I think that creates some really magical opportunities. So number three, another huge benefit of traveling alone is that you build an inner confidence and resilience that you just don't build when you're with someone else, because a lot of those qualities come from being in discomfort. And you really have to dig deep inside yourself and find those inner resources, that grounding that's going to make you feel comfortable in any environment under any circumstance. And it's just really hard to build that when you're with someone else because there's that comfort level, there's that sense of security. But you have to cultivate all of that inside yourself, and that will bring you incredible confidence. So now that we've talked about the benefits of going solo, let's talk about some of the common fears and why you don't need to worry about them. So number one, the biggest fear, I think, is fear of being lonely. And that's totally legit. I feel that way too. I'm about to set out on my digital nomad journey, and I definitely feel afraid of that. But on the other hand, the truth is, I feel lonely sometimes anywhere. It doesn't matter whether I'm in my hometown or whether I'm somewhere else. It's just a part of being human. So it's a normal fear, and it's something we deal with no matter what. But there are definitely some strategies and things that you can do to help you not feel lonely when you're on the road alone. There are so many resources that just didn't exist when I started traveling alone. I had different periods of time where I did this. There's just so much more available now. So you have a lot of Facebook groups in almost any place because there's expats all over the world. There's definitely digital nomad hubs, but you will find Facebook groups where you can tap into networks wherever you go. There's also meetup groups. And also I discovered recently there's a lot of subreddits for different locations, and you can find out about local social events and things like that. If you go online and you start looking up digital nomad groups on Facebook, either generally or location specific. So search for the general groups that will tap you into connecting with people at different locations, but also do location specific, like Digital Nomads Albania. And I do a similar search when I'm on Reddit as well. Another option, this isn't something that I personally have done, but I was talking to a friend recently, and this is what she likes to do. When she goes to different places, she was in Puerto Rico recently, she likes to do co-living centers where she can easily tap into a friendship and a social network, and it might really help you feel less alone if you go to a place where they have these co-living situations, digital nomad homes, things like that. So that's another thing to consider. Also, hostels is always a great place to meet people as well. So there are a ton of social opportunities, and the cool thing is that you probably aren't even that social in your hometown, because again, we get into our comfort zone and we stop meeting people. So you might even find that you have a more vibrant social life when you're out on the road. Another common fear, and again, totally legit, fear of safety. If you're a woman traveling alone, it might be more scary and intimidating, but there's a lot, again, that you can do to be safe and to feel safe. One thing I just want to mention too, I lived in Oakland for 13 years, and I can tell you of all the places that I've traveled to, Oakland was more dangerous than anywhere. I was in, for example, Barcelona, and I felt so safe. So it's also important to keep in mind that I'm not saying all places, obviously, in the world, but for many places, you might find that you actually feel more safe and that you are more safe than a lot of US cities. I don't know where you're watching this from, but for wherever you live, you might find that to be the case. Again, we always want to have common sense when it comes to our safety. We want to make sure that our valuables aren't out. We're not walking around with our phone or our camera, and just really being super aware of our surroundings, who's around us. I mean, these are the things that help to keep me safe when I lived in Oakland as well. So just the common sense measures that you have, you're not, having cash out, common sense stuff. Also, you might want to consider taking like a self-defense class. That might help you to feel more comfortable that you have certain skills, certain things that you could do if something went down. Also, just how you hold yourself is can be a huge deterrent. Is just having that confidence, walking with confidence, and giving off that energy that you're not easily messed with. The third fear that I want to talk about, and this is something that I definitely feel and something that I'm constantly working through. It's okay to have these fears and still move through them. And this fear is the fear of being vulnerable. When you know that you're going to be traveling alone, there's something about it that makes you feel extra vulnerable. And In a way, you are, but we're always vulnerable. It's just that we create these different things that help us to feel safe and secure. But again, I feel like this vulnerability can lead to some really good things, both internally and externally. I know for me, sometimes it's hard for me to ask for help. It's hard for me to rely on other people. For me to be traveling and be in that vulnerable state, that's actually good for me. That's good for my self-development, to be more dependent on other people, not in a negative way, but more in an interdependent way. And it also allows me to be more taking care of myself and nurturing myself in those moments when I'm feeling vulnerable. And how can I reground into and recenter into myself when I'm feeling that way? You know, again, what I've been talking about in this whole video is that this discomfort that you feel leads to some really great things. It leads you to develop some really incredible qualities in yourself. And when you're comfortable, when you're with someone else, you just don't have the opportunity to create these things. It will make you a better person. I think it will lead you to have more vibrant, interesting, spontaneous experiences that you wouldn't have if you're with someone else. So if you're holding back, if you're holding off on doing your digital nomad journey or traveling solo because you don't want to do it alone, I hope that this video helped you to see that there's some incredible, surprising benefits of doing this solo that you just can't get when you're with someone else. And the truth is, this is your life. This is your life right here, right now. You've got to live it. Yeah, part of me wishes that I had someone that I could go do this with, but I don't, and I need to live my life. And then I realized, you know what? Yeah, I don't, but I'm gonna have some experiences because of that I wouldn't have if I was with someone else. And I want to be grateful for that, and I want to use that to the fullest extent and realize that's actually a gift. That's gonna work in my benefit. So I hope this helped to reframe some of these ideas that you have about traveling alone and how it's less than, that somehow it would be better if you were with someone else. And it's just not the case. There's actually benefits and downsides to both of them, as it's true with life itself. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what scares you most, or what are you most excited about when it comes to traveling alone. Let me know. If you'd like this video, please help support me by hitting the like button and subscribing for more updates on my travels and travel tips. I'll see you soon.